بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كلكم راع وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته. We are towards the end of the year. We are due to say goodbye to many students, particularly the ones from year 6 that are leaving. So an important topic that I want to discuss as a source of inspiration before you leave: leadership. Leadership in life. What does it mean to be a leader, and how can we inculcate and have good leadership skills? Children, we need you to be leaders. We have enough followers, and the leaders that we have in our communities, let's be honest, in our countries that are supposed to be Muslim countries, it's just not good enough. It's not good enough. And it's easy to complain about the leaders that we have, but it's difficult to be the leader that we want to be. To complain about others and how they are not good is easy to complain. Then you should be an example of how you should be as a leader and as a guide. And there's an acronym, a word that I want you to memorize, to always think of key leadership qualities that you can use to become an inspirational and motivational leader. And that word is LIMERT. LIMERT. I just made it up 5 seconds ago. LIMERT. Each one of these letters represents a leadership quality that if you were to adopt, it would make you successful in any part of your life. L. Leading by example. Leading by example. L. In the time when the Muslims were in Mecca and they were being tortured, the Prophet led by example in how at that time they were supposed to make sabr. One example is, once the Prophet was praying salah, and there was a very evil man, his name was Umayyah bin Khalaf. Umayyah bin Khalaf was one of the greatest enemies of Islam at the time. And he inspired some people with a very evil plot. When Muhammad goes into sajda, in salah, take the innards of a camel, the innards, the guts, and then throw it on his back. Throw it on his back as a form of humiliation and disgrace. So the Prophet went into sajda, and some people of his underlings got the guts of a camel and they threw it on the back of the Prophet. And it was so heavy upon the back that the Prophet couldn't even get up from sajda. His daughter Fatima heard what happened. She came crying and she helped her father to get up. The Prophet got up, he didn't say anything. He just looked at them all and they all put their heads down. And he just looked at them, and as mentioned, he walked away. He didn't even say anything to them. Leading by example, the exemplary sabr that the Prophet ﷺ had with the enemies of Islam, this is L. I, inner circle. If you want to be a good leader, have the people that you trust close with you. Have a good close inner circle of friends and people that you trust when you are in a position of responsibility. Then that means you can go to those people and trust them with your important decisions. Rasulullah was very close to Allah, but once he said, if I was to take a Khalil, if I was to take a very close friend other than Allah, it would be Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr would be my close friend. Whenever the Prophet ﷺ would be anywhere, Abu Bakr would be first with him. In the cave, when he was doing hijrah, Abu Bakr. He married a daughter. The first person they married after Khadija passed away was the daughter of Abu Bakr. So having your close friends and having good friends that you trust, this is part of leadership. I, inner circle. M, magnetism. What do you think I mean by this? Magnetism. Not that you put some magnets on your forehead and see what happens. Magnetism. Staying together, very good, but also attracting the people around you through your character, through your example, through your good akhlaq and adab. You know, being a leader doesn't necessarily mean being a tyrant and being someone that is in authority and telling people and shouting at people what to do, but it's leading through love and care. And the Sahaba loved the Prophet. One Sahabi, he was being threatened when he was in another town preaching Islam, that he will be thrown in a boiling pot of oil. If you don't renounce Islam, then you'll be thrown in a boiling pot of oil. He goes, I won't. So they took him. And as they were taking him to kill him and torture him, he goes, don't you wish that Muhammad was in your place now? That he was here and you were free? That you weren't following Islam? He started laughing. He goes, my Prophet? He goes, you can burn me, kill me. I wouldn't want a thorn to prick my Prophet's foot. I would rather you kill me in this way than for someone to even prick the Rasul with a thorn in his foot. Why did the Sahaba have this love? Because the Prophet had this attitude of love towards his Sahaba. And they were willing to sacrifice their own lives so that their life and the safety of Rasulullah was paramount. This is M, magnetism. E, empowering. When you're in a position of leadership, it's not about just you. It's not about you just being the big person. You're supposed to empower and make other people feel important as well. The very first muaddin of Islam was Bilal. Yes? Was Bilal. Everyone knows the story of Bilal. An interesting story about Bilal is this. Bilal actually was the one that initially came with ajwa dates. And he came once with ajwa dates and he goes, Ya Rasulullah, I've got these dates that I sell, but they don't sell well. And he showed them the ajwa dates. And the Prophet said, why? He goes, Ya Rasulullah, because people look at them like they look at me. They're small and they're black. They're small and they're black. So people don't buy them. This is the kind of environment the Prophet used to live in. So the Prophet made dua, and he mentions he went to the orchard where these ajwa dates were. He made dua and he blew in the hand of Bilal and he goes, cultivate your ajwa dates. These will be the most beloved dates to the world after this. And mashallah, after that, the ajwa dates were the best. He made Bilal the muaddin. Now when Bilal was made the muaddin, the Quraysh used to mock Rasulullah. Who have you put as this man, as the muaddin? You know, they were racist. There was racism against people of different cultures and races and religions amongst the Arabs of the time. So the Prophet did it to empower Bilal, to make him feel important, to make him feel that he was worthy of being something in the religion, and he empowered people. This is E, empowering. L-I-M-E, last two letters, R and T. R, respect for authority. The Prophet commanded respect from people, but not respect because of fear, but respect because of who he was. Once the Sahaba were camping, and this was just before the Battle of Badr, and they knew something was going to happen with the Quraysh. And at night they heard something, and all the Sahaba got up. In the darkness of the night, couldn't see anything, no street lamps, and they were very carefully coming out to see what was the noise, were they about to be attacked. And they saw from a distance Rasulullah coming by himself on a horse with his sword in his hand, without a saddle, riding the horse. And the Prophet came back and goes, don't worry, I went out by myself to check if everything was okay. Everything's okay, so go back to bed. They were creeping out slowly to make sure that they weren't being attacked. And Rasulullah left by himself with sword in hand on a saddle, going to check for the safety of his people. This is respect. Respect for your people, and respect that you command from people because of how you treat them. The Prophet was fearless, and they respected the Prophet for these kind of qualities. And lastly, T, and probably one of the most important ones, you're in a position of authority. You're prefect, head prefect, prefect girl, prefect boy, whatever it might be in secondary school. Trustworthiness. People have to trust you. You can't be a liar. You can't be sneaky. You can't try to be psychological with people and trying to do tricks. Honesty is the best policy. When the Prophet first started preaching Islam, you know the very first thing the Prophet said? Very first thing he said. He could have quoted Iqra, the first verses of the Quran. He could have said, well, I've seen an angel in the cave of Hira. He could have quoted anything. The very first thing the Prophet said to the Quraysh was what? What do you think of me? He said to Quraysh in the gathering that he had, what do you think of me? The Prophet was putting himself in the firing line. Now if they said, nah, Muhammad, we don't trust you, you know, we've seen some bad qualities in you, you're not trustworthy, then Islam would have gone. Before it even took off, Islam would have been gone. What did the Quraysh say? They said, Muhammad, you are sadiq, you are truthful, you are ameen, we have complete trust in you, truthful and trustworthy. And the Prophet said, do you think this of me? And they said, absolutely. He goes, well, if you believe I'm truthful and trustworthy, believe that I'm the Prophet of Allah and there's no God but Allah. So the first thing the Prophet put as evidence of his prophethood wasn't Quran. It wasn't Hadith. It was his own character. Your character is the thing that people will be attracted to more than anything else. Before verses of Quran, before Hadith, you put yourself as an example of how you should be as a leader. And if you are trustworthy, and if you do LIMERT, which is leading by example, inner circle, having people close to you, magnetism, having the ability to attract people towards you in the way that you behave with them. You empower others, E. R, you command and you give respect, and T, you are trustworthy, then inshallah all of you will be LIMERT in secondary schools and in the future as well. Subhanallah wa bihamdi, subhanakallah wa bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.